Mommies, before you bring your new baby home from the hospital, make sure your four-legged baby is prepared for your human bundle of joy. Mikkel Becker, a professional dog trainer and expert from vetstreet.com, has lots of help with this. This is very important to do. Whether you have an older dog or a new puppy, it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely, and there are lots of misconceptions about dogs, one of which is that you either have a dog or you have a baby. They don't go well together. But the truth is that you can actually have dogs and babies in the same household. They can be perfectly safe, and not only that, but they can build strong bonds that last a lifetime.
That's for sure. I got a Mastiff puppy when I had a baby, right before I had a baby.
Oh, so you were busy.
Best buddies, yes, they are best buddies. Okay, but there are certain breeds that we should probably look out for that might not go so well with the baby. Tell us about some of those.
Well, really, mostly what it is you're really looking at the personality of the dog. So for most dogs, it's simply that they need to be taught better manners on how to interact with babies. And so some of the red flags to look for are dogs that have a past history of biting someone. So that's a big red flag right there, that you need someone, a behavior professional, to come in and really look at your situation. But also dogs, a lot of times some of the bites are going to happen around a dog's food bowl or around toys. So dogs that like to guard those areas, really look at that. Or dogs that are highly anxious. Those are dogs you may want to have someone come in before. But really what it is you're basically teaching a dog proper manners. And a lot of dogs are just so hyper around babies because they've never learned another way to
And they're excited too.
Exactly.
They can smell that there's something special there.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about the diaper. No, but they can tell, you know, they can tell that the baby is innocent too and can be harmed. So they get a little anxious around them too sometimes.
Yeah, and a lot of times what it is when we first bring a new baby into the household, we're so busy with the baby and we don't really focus on them, so we aren't getting them the same amount of exercise or attention that they would normally get.
They can get jealous.
And it's hard because they have so much extra energy. So what we're really doing is we're trying to redirect their energy into an appropriate outlet, and we're letting them be involved with the baby. That's the biggest thing, is it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have them involved. We just do it in a safe way. The biggest thing to take away when you have a new baby in the household is to always have active supervision. And so that's when the worst dog bites are going to happen, is when you aren't supervising. And so when I talk about supervision, that means you're right there. So whenever you have the dog interacting with the baby, you're right there watching it. And so not leaving the infant in a swing or in a crib or letting them crawl, but being right there to watch everything. And then you're going to prevent the majority of dog bites just by doing that.
Right, and they'll get accustomed to the baby as well. What about jumping? I know a lot of, if you have a toddler, a lot of dogs get excited, or you know, as your baby's just learning to walk and hold himself up or hold herself up. What should we do about jumping?
So that's actually jumping up is one of the first things you can practice before your baby even comes into the household. And so a lot of times dogs like to jump up just because they get excited and they think that's the way that I get to greet someone, is if I jump. And so what you do is you teach them the proper manners of actually going into a sit instead of jumping. So like with Apollo here, so say that he was a big jumper. So Apollo's a pet that's up for adoption at the Pet Pal animal shelter in St. Petersburg. So for him, what I would do, if he was a dog that liked to jump up, what I would do is you freeze like a statue and don't even look at the dog. So that's a lot of the time they want to jump up because they get the attention. And so what you're doing is you're giving them the attention when he goes into a sit. And so you're practicing that. What you can also do is you can practice petting him when he's in a sit. As soon as he jumps up, then you ignore. So that's one of the first ways. The other thing that's really important that we don't really think about is getting our dog enough exercise. So some simple ways you can do that is just taking your dog to a doggy daycare, having a dog walker come over. That's what I did when I was pregnant with my daughter. Was I had a dog walker come over, and that really helped to get their energy out. But what you can do is you can teach them to walk with a stroller before your baby even comes.
That's great.
Which is a great.
Just use a baby doll in the stroller or nothing in the stroller.
Exactly. and so what you're doing, there are a couple of different tools that you can actually use. So you can use a head halter on a dog, and so that helps to prevent pulling. And you can also use a harness that clips on the front of their chest. And so both of those are pretty easy for the dog to get accustomed to. They're gentle and they keep them from pulling. The other thing you can do is teach your dog how to heel. So I have tips on vetstreet.com on how to teach your dog to heel. So those are some great ways to do that.
And of course, crate training is key, and baby gates, you're going to probably want those all over your house.
Absolutely.
Mikkel Becker, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Cindy, let's go over to you, sweetie.